I'm switching from the iPhone 17 Pro Max to the iPhone Air. Let me tell you why. Now, quick history, I've been a big iPhone user ever since Apple offered a bigger size, I think starting with the 6 Plus, and my current iPhone is the massive iPhone 17 Pro Max. Now, the main reason why I go for these giant iPhones is mainly battery life. I like having a lot of battery at my disposal as I tend to use my phone a lot, and there's nothing worse than needing to charge in the middle of the day. So with that rationale in mind, it's kind of wild to think that I'm transitioning to the iPhone Air. I mean, look at how thin this thing is. It's seriously like half the thickness of my 17 Pro Max. This means that battery, just based on the lack of physical space alone, is going to be significantly smaller, and there's other concessions that come with this phone that will be interesting to navigate in the months to come. So today, I want to go over the main reasons why I'm making this change and how it's been during the 1 week where I've actually had the iPhone Air, which I'm hoping will help you make a decision on whether or not this unique iPhone is the right one for you. Now, before we get into it, because I know I'm going to get asked, if you guys want the wallpapers in this video, make sure to subscribe to the JSL newsletter. I send subscribers out a brand new full-res wallpaper every single week, as well as links to really good tech deals and fun articles written by yours truly. It's totally free. The link to subscribe will be in the description down below. Okay, I'm going to be brutally honest about probably the main reason why I decided to switch from the Pro Max iPhone to the iPhone Air. It's mainly because it's just different. The iPhone, in my opinion, has had the same form factor since the iPhone 12, and though they've been by and large good devices, they've been super familiar to say the least, making it not exactly exciting to upgrade when new ones come out. So as superficial as it sounds, to have an iPhone be this different and new is sadly quite attractive. And I get that my last statement could draw a lot of fair criticism, but what really can't be argued is the fact that the iPhone Air is a very well put together device that looks and feels amazing. I'm super glad Apple retained the use of a titanium frame, as I'm pretty sure any other build material for a frame this thin would lead to bending issues, and despite being a fingerprint magnet, I think it looks gorgeous paired with the frosted glass on the back. Now, I decided to go with the light gold variant mainly because I like the cream finish paired with the gold on the frame. Now, Apple did say that this was the most durable iPhone ever made, highlighting that they used their new Ceramic Shield 2 on the front screen and the regular Ceramic Shield on the back. To really test out this claim, I've decided to do something that I've never done before, which is use the iPhone Air completely naked, no case, no screen protector, to see how it holds up over time, which is kind of bold because I may have already stumbled into a quality issue with this phone. Not mine specifically, but when I went to go pick up my iPhone Air, I noticed that the display models that they had out, some of them already had some pretty deep scratches on the back. Now, this was exclusive to the black model, so it may just be limited to that colorway, but that doesn't exactly scream the most durable iPhone ever. But man, as novel and kind of pointless as this might be, the thinness of this phone is something to truly look at and wonder. It's seriously kind of mind-blowing. I've always been an advocate for lighter, more comfortable form factors, hence why I was such a big fan of the iPhone mini, and even though this is clearly not a small phone, there is something wonderful about it being light and airy. And this could be the new Goldilocks size, as the screen is bigger than the regular iPhone 17 Pro, but not as massive as the 17 Pro Max, and because the bezel is so thin, it makes for a very immersive viewing experience. Plus, it still has a rock-solid IP68 dust and water resistance rating, and all of the important design elements like MagSafe fully intact. You also still get the action button, which I use all the time, and the camera control button, which I almost never use, but hey, I'm glad that it's here. And at the end of the day, there's something ultra refreshing about having a lightweight, easy to put into your pocket form factor. Someone said in a different video that I watched the other day, and I think it's so true, it reminds me of the first time that I got my first iPhone. I just engage with it a lot more than what I'm used to, and 1 week later, it has been a welcome change of pace from the usual chunky and heavy Pro Max iPhone I was lugging around. Now, the other reason why I decided to make the switch to the iPhone Air, yes, this phone does come with some concessions, but I feel as though it has the core things that I need in a smartphone. For example, the screen is great. I was just talking about how it's a good size with minimal bezel. It's an OLED panel, so the quality is definitely there, and it has Apple's ProMotion, so you get a silky smooth experience when navigating around the OS. Now, you do only get one speaker on this phone, which did concern me at first, but it's the front-facing speaker on the earpiece that's a lot harder to block out, and in my opinion, it's good enough. Sure, dual speakers will always sound better, but having only one isn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Now, the iPhone Air does come with Apple's newest A19 Pro chip. It does come with one less GPU core, but it's great to have one of the most powerful mobile processors available today. Now, it doesn't have a vapor chamber and it's not using aluminum, so it's not going to be as good at managing heat as the 17 Pros, especially in this thin housing, but barring the use of some pro-level features that I never really use, that this phone doesn't even really have, I'm hoping that overheating won't be an issue. Now, one of the bigger concessions with going with the iPhone Air is the fact that it only has one camera on the back, and though I may not feel like this forever, I think I'm gonna be okay with that. In my experience, even on the Pro Max that has 3 cameras on the back, 98% of the time I'm only using the main sensor, so I'm hoping that I won't miss the other 2 cameras that much. Plus, despite being only one, it's a really good camera. It's the updated 48 megapixel Fusion camera that so far has been performing awesome. Pictures are sharp and vibrant without feeling overprocessed, and because of the large sensor, you get a lossless 2x zoom that kind of feels like you have a dual camera setup. The iPhone Air can shoot really good 4K video too, as video coming out of this phone is definitely at the same caliber as the other iPhone, so I don't feel like I'm missing out on much at the end of the day. This statement is especially true because the iPhone Air has the main camera improvement that I feel most people would want, and that's the upgraded center stage selfie camera. This larger sensor allows for the ability to take selfies in both portrait and landscape mode, which is underrated useful, and Apple made this feature super easy to use as you can set up center stage mode that will automatically adjust the frame as it detects more objects in the viewfinder. This is probably the most notable upgrade of the year, and it's great that it's also on the iPhone Air. But let's just talk about the elephant in the room. The kryptonite of the iPhone Air is the battery life, and it's a bigger deal than I think what most people think. I'm a firm believer that battery life is one of the most important factors whether or not a phone is good. It's one of those things that everyone takes for granted if the battery life is great, but will immediately and painfully notice if the battery life is bad. And even though Apple claims that it can comfortably last a full day of heavy use, there's no denying that this phone has limitations with battery just by the form factor itself. Plus, it was a huge red flag to me that during the keynote, as soon as Apple started talking about the iPhone Air's battery performance, they aggressively pushed their new MagSafe battery pack that's specifically designed for this phone. And look, during my 1 week with this phone, I'm just gonna say the obvious, the battery life on the iPhone Air is not nearly as good as what's on the 17 Pro Max. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to classify the battery life as bad. It gets me through the full day, but I'm usually near 20% by the time I go to bed, and I'm a lot more anxious about it throughout the day. One of the best things about the Pro Max iPhone, or any other huge phone for that matter, you can go to town on it, do whatever you want, as long as you want, without having to think twice about whether or not you're gonna make it through the end of the day, so long as you start the day on a full charge. With the iPhone Air, I do find myself being a lot more cognizant of my screen on time, wondering if I'm gonna end up in a bad situation later in the day, especially if I know I won't have access to a charger. Again, I don't wanna make it seem like this is a problem yet because I haven't had an instance in which the phone died on me, but I am curious to see how this performs over time, especially with iOS 26 being pretty new and pretty demanding from what I've seen. But for the here and now, the iPhone Air's battery performance is passable. So those are the main reasons why I made the switch over to the iPhone Air. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to see all of my follow-ups on how the phone holds up physically, as I'm never going to use a case or a screen protector, and of course, how it holds up when it comes to performance. Will we see terminal issues around overheating and battery life? Or will this phone actually be usable for the long haul? I'm curious to get your thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. And if you're not a fan of the iPhone Air, but you're interested in the iPhone 17 or the 17 Pro, definitely check out these videos here. You're not going to want to miss them.